Okay, so you realized you need to take care of yourself and you have decided, I'm going to do it. But oftentimes we're trying to change everything all at once. So you've decided and you have gone all in and you're changing everything all at once. You're drinking more water, starting a new diet, exercising 5 days a week, taking 20 supplements, meditating, getting 10,000 steps, going to bed earlier, cutting out sugar. You are fixing everything. And for a few days, it actually feels good. You feel motivated. You feel like you're finally doing something. And then something happens. Your kiddo gets sick. Work gets crazy. You sleep terribly. You forgot to meal prep. You missed 2 workouts. And suddenly the whole thing starts falling apart. Then comes the part that's maybe a little concerning to me. We turn it into a judgment about ourselves. What kind of self-talk, inner dialogue do you have going on? I have no discipline. I can never stick with anything. I always do this. But what if you didn't fail? What if you built a health plan that required a completely different life than the one you actually have? Welcome to the Longevity Path with Dr. Ava, where ancient wisdom meets modern regenerative medicine. And on this channel, we want to take ancient philosophy with modern medicine and combine them to really empower you to take control of your own health. This month, we've been coming back to yourself. First, we talked about what happens when you spend so much time taking care of everyone else that you stop paying attention to your own health. Then we started looking at some of the clues your body may be giving you, including what you're noticing around food. Today, if it's okay, I want to do something different. I want to get practical because awareness is important. Understanding your pattern is important. But eventually, we have to do something with that information. And if you're already overwhelmed, I don't want to give you 20 things to do. So in this video, I want to give you just 5 places you could begin. And then I just want you to choose 2. Only 2. That's it. Not the whole 5, 2. Now, these are not the only things that matter for health. And depending on your health history, symptoms, medications, or medical needs, what is actually appropriate for you may look a little different. These are simply 5 basic anchors, and these can help you start creating a relationship with taking care of yourself again, or for the first time, wherever you are. Now, the first one is incredibly simple. Water. When you wake up, drink some water. I know that's not revolutionary, and that's exactly the point. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best solutions. We have become so obsessed with optimization that sometimes we overlook behaviors that are incredibly easy to anchor into our lives. Put your water somewhere you will see it. It's best in Chinese medicine if it's room temp, and you can only absorb about 8 ounces every 20 minutes. So no need to chug a 64-ounce jug of water, but you can put it next to your coffee maker, your nightstand, wherever your morning naturally begins. And if you've been with us for a while, this is habit stacking. So we're trying to add this behavior into your habits that are already existing. So when you drink it, I want you to think about something differently. This isn't about checking hydration off your wellness list. It's a tiny act that says, before my day completely takes over, I did something for my body. So that's anchor number 1. Anchor number 2, intentionally nourish yourself at 1 meal. Now notice, I did not say completely change your diet. We're not doing that. Just pick 1 meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter, whichever one you have the most control over. And make that the meal where you deliberately think, how can I nourish myself here? For many people, that may mean including an appropriate source of protein, plant foods or fiber, soups, and other foods that support their individual needs and leave them feeling satisfied. But I don't want you obsessing over making the perfect plate. The behavior we're building is I feed myself intentionally at least once every day. This is especially important for people who spend their entire day feeding everybody else. How many of you moms out there have or do make breakfast for all the kids and then you forget to eat yourself? You pack lunches and don't pack one for yourself. Make dinner and realize you're eating scraps while standing at the counter. Sometimes nourishing yourself starts with actually including yourself in the people who need to be fed. So now anchor number 3, and this is especially good if you're trying to manage your weight, but you want to walk for 10 minutes after one meal. Now, don't get it twisted. This is a holistic medicine philosophy, not a biohacker philosophy. But again, we're being specific. I'm not telling you that you suddenly need a gym membership, and I'm not giving you a step goal. This just helps to get the lymphatic system draining and the digestive system engaged. So just pick one meal, and when it's appropriate and safe for you, walk for about 10 minutes afterward. Maybe it's lunch, maybe it's dinner with your family, maybe it's around your office building, maybe it's around the block. And no, walking to the living room to put toys away does not count. The point, though, is to make movement small enough that you can actually see where it fits. So this 10-minute walk is intentional and it's relaxed, it's not stressed, because I need to exercise feels enormous. Besides, digestion doesn't work well when you're stressed. But I'm going to walk for 10 minutes after dinner is a decision. And decisions are easier to act on than vague intentions. So you could see how vague getting in shape is versus I'm going to walk for 10 minutes after dinner. Now let's talk about anchor number 4. It's one that I deeply care about and I find incredibly useful. A 10-minute nervous system transition. A lot of us move from one role directly into another without ever coming down. Work ends, now you're mom. School pickup, now dinner. Dinner, now homework. Now emails. Emails, now you're lying in bed wondering why your brain won't turn off. Well, there was never a transition. And I'm lucky enough to have a partner that tells me, reminds me to take that break for the nervous system reset. So just choose one point in your day and give yourself 10 minutes. 10 minutes where you're not producing something for somebody else. And if you have someone to support you and hold you accountable, even better. Maybe you sit outside, maybe you breathe, maybe you meditate or pray, maybe you stretch, maybe you just walk without your phone. Maybe you sit in your car for a few minutes before going inside. There isn't one perfect practice. What matters is that you deliberately create a moment where your body isn't being asked to immediately perform the next task. I love that Chinese medicine has always made me think about health in terms of rhythm, balance, cycles, and patterns rather than constant output. Now let's talk about the modern physiology lens for understanding why recovery matters. Our nervous system needs opportunities to move out of constant demand. So even though this might not feel like stress, it could be a fight or flight scenario for you. But you don't need an hour-long meditation practice to begin creating those opportunities. Start with 10 minutes. Now let's talk about anchor number 5. Give yourself a bedtime window. Now, I deliberately did not say get 8 hours of sleep every night because some of you may have immediately heard that and thought that would be nice. I don't know about you, but I actually like to be up before everybody else just to give me that edge and peace to myself. But maybe you have young children, as I do. Maybe you work unusual hours. Maybe sleep itself is something you're struggling with. So instead, let's start with rhythm. And no, it may not necessarily work after 1 or 2 nights, but choose a reasonable 30-minute window when you aim to get into bed. Maybe that's 10 to 10:30, maybe it's 11 to 11:30, whatever makes sense for your actual life. We're not trying to force perfect sleep because that's going to make it worse. We're just creating a little bit more predictability around when your day ends. So those are your 5. Let's recap. Water when you wake up. That's 1. 1 intentionally nourishing meal. That's 2. A 10-minute walk after 1 meal. Okay. 3. A 10-minute nervous system transition. 4. And then a consistent bedtime window. Just 5. Now, here's the most important part of this entire episode. Do not do all 5. I know some of you are already thinking, okay, great, I'll start tomorrow, all 5. No, pick 2, because I don't want this video to become another list of things you now think you're supposed to be doing. And if you do all 5 at once, how many of them are you actually going to be intentional about? So I am giving you 5 doors. You only need to walk through 2. And don't get me wrong, when I first started meditation for the nervous system reset, I started with 2 minutes and then 5 minutes. And sometimes I only do 10, 11, 12 minutes in the morning. But the point is, I take that time. So if it's not meditation, prayer, or, being intentional about resetting your nervous system. Now, don't choose the 2 that sound the most impressive. Choose the 2 that fit your life. Don't think about it. Just quickly, which 2? Quick. That way it's your subconscious and not your conscious making the decision. If your mornings are complete chaos, maybe morning hydration isn't where you begin. If walking after dinner isn't realistic, choose something else. If your bedtime is largely controlled by a baby right now, whether it's your baby or a grandbaby, don't make bedtime your measure of success. Just build around the life you're actually living. This is where I think we often get health wrong. We build plans for our ideal selves, the version of us who wakes up early every day, never gets sick, never has an emergency, always meal preps, always has energy, always has time. But that person isn't living your Tuesday. You are. And trust me, I know something about plans getting derailed. We just started homeschooling, and boy, is it a task. So just keep in mind, your plan has to work for you. And there's something else I want you to understand. Small does not mean meaningless. We tend to dismiss simple behaviors because they don't feel dramatic enough. But guess what? When you build a building, it's still 1 brick at a time, 1 board at a time, 1 2x4 at a time. So health and buildings aren't created only through dramatic interventions. Your body experiences what you repeatedly do. And when you're rebuilding your health after a period of neglect, which is okay, give yourself grace for that. You can come back. The first goal, though, isn't to become perfect. It's to create evidence that you can include yourself in your own life again. I drank the water. I fed myself. I moved. I stopped for 10 minutes. I went to bed when I said I was going to. These actions may seem small, but psychologically, you're changing something important. You're no longer saying, I really need to start taking care of myself. You're doing it. And that's where momentum begins. So here's what I want you to do when this video ends. Look at the 5 anchors. Choose 2, write them down so you create that neural connection, and put it in the comments below so that we can support you or we can be your accountability partners. And then ask yourself, could I still do these on a difficult day? If the answer is absolutely not, make them smaller or choose something else. And remember, perfectionism is a form of procrastination. So don't be a perfectionist, because we're not building health for the easiest week of your life. We're beginning to build health inside your real life. So don't forget to like and subscribe, because next week we're going to zoom out and talk about something bigger. Because once you start doing things for your health, another question becomes important. Are you simply trying to make symptoms disappear as quickly as possible? Or are you actually building a body that is better supported over time. There is a difference between chasing relief and building health, and we're going to talk about that next. But for this week, keep it simple, choose to, and start there. And let taking care of yourself become something you do, not another thing you keep telling yourself you're going to do someday. And until next time, stay grounded, stay consistent, and build health that supports your life, not just your symptoms.